once you have the connection with your phone system established, the next step is creating a call flow. A call flow is the definition of how Zipcaller will interact with your customers when they answer the call. So, for example, if you will playing a prompt, if you will be transferring the call to a queue of agents, this type of interactions are defined in the call flow. So, how do we create a call flow? We have two options. The simplest way to create it is using a template, but we also have the designer for more complex scenarios. So let's start with the template. If we click here, we will see the different templates that we have. For example, the play prompt lets you just play a prompt and drop the call. This could be useful, for example, to leave a message in a voicemail. So we will specify for the name leave voicemail. We click next and then we define the prompt that we will be playing. For the prompt, we can use text prompt or WAP prompt. A text prompt is just specifying the text and it will be automatically converted to speech using Google Text to Speech. For example, here we can specify hello customer name. Here we can use variables. We call you, but you weren't available. Please call us back when you have a moment. Okay, this is a sample text that we can use in a voicemail. As you can see, you have static parts and you also have variable parts, like this, customer name. This is something that will be replaced by a value that you will provide when you upload the numbers to call. So when you create your campaign and you upload the numbers to call, you will be defining for each number that you will be calling the value for the customer name that should be used. So in one case, this could be hello John, or this could be hello Jane. Okay, this will be something different in each call, and Zipcaller will automatically convert everything to speech as needed. If you want to use a WAV file because you have an institutional voice or you want to use background music or well for any reason you want to use a pre-recorded WAV, then you can just upload it here. Of course, this is a static WAV file, so the same message will be played for all the calls. You cannot use variable parts in this case, but this is something that you might want to do. The format of the WAV file is specified here in this tooltip. If you are used to the WAV file format, which is valid for 3CX phone system, then this is exactly the same format. Okay, so if we use text prompt, we just need to click finish and all our call flow will be ready to use here. Leave voicemail, okay? So what templates do we have? Which are the most common scenarios? Okay, for example, transfer call lets you just transfer the call as soon as it's answered by the destination. So we make a call, the destination answers the call, and we transfer the call to a queue of agents. Of course, in this case, we can identify if the answering endpoint is an answering machine or a human, and only transfer the call when when a human answers the call. For example, we could leave a voicemail using this template when an answering machine is detected. Or we could play a prompt and transfer. This could be useful if you want to say something like, hello, we are calling you from Acme. Please wait while we transfer your call, and then we transfer the call to the operator. Or we could let the user choose if they want to be transferred or not. So we play a prompt, hello, we are calling you from Acme. If you want to get transferred to an operator, please press 1. And when the user presses 1, we will be transfer the call to the operator. Call or service rating lets you provide a rating for a call or service that you had previously with the company. So we let you enter a value in a range that you can define here in the template, and this way collect information from your users. Appointment reminder lets you um, remind, for example, patients of a doctor that they have an appointment the following day or the following week, and the user can confirm the appointment or select an option to reschedule it, and in that case, get transferred to an operator so they can uh, schedule the appointment for a different date and time. Debt collection is a template that you can use to let your customers know that they owe you money, and you can let them press 1, for example, to get information on how to pay, and press 2, for example, to get transferred to an operator so they can speak about how they can pay the debt. And finally, the survey template lets you create surveys with different number of questions. You can create a survey with only one question or 10 questions. This is up to you. And for each question, you can define the prompt, and you can define which options are valid as a response. So these are the templates that we have to let you create using a step-by-step wizard, si- in a very simplified way, creating a call flow. But what happens if this is not enough? Well, you always have the option to create the call flow with a designer. You specify a name, my personalized call flow, for example, and here in the plus, the green plus button, you click and you select the action that you want to execute in that case. So for example, we click DTMF input. This is a kind of menu where you can configure options, for example, 1, 2, and 3. We can set a name, main menu, for this one. Well, we had different settings here. Um, we will specify a prompt, for example, a text prompt. This will be the main prompt that we will be giving to the users, inviting them to enter one option or the other. And in case the user doesn't enter anything or enters an invalid digit, then we can use another prompt to play an error. And then we add outputs for the valid options. For example, for 1, we specify that we will play a prompt. For 2, for example, we can transfer the call to a queue. And for 3, we could have a secondary menu here, a different menu when the user presses 3. So when the user presses 1, we play prompt. If the user presses 2, we transfer the call. If the user presses 3, we have a secondary menu, and here we will have other options, etc. So this way we can create a more complex set of actions that will represent my call flow. Okay, so back to the call flow list. Here we can see that if we have a call flow, if we need to define a call flow that is pretty similar to a call flow defined by a template, for example, a survey, we have a survey here. This template is already a survey. But what if we want to add, for example, a menu in top of that, and only when the user presses 1, we will proceed and go with the survey? Okay, then we can select this and select the action duplicate and edit with the designer. We click this and we will have the designer, but it's not empty. It's already configured with all the actions the of the survey that we had. And then we can add at the very beginning a DTMF prompt, which will be the main menu, And if the user, for example, presses the option 1, in this case, we will be executing the survey. So all the actions that we have here, we can move them inside the branch, and this way we can use drag and drop here, as you can see. And this way, if the user presses 1, we will execute the survey, which is all that. Otherwise, we don't. Okay, so this is a way to continue the creation of a call flow, starting from a template and then moving to the designer. Okay, so in the call flow list, we will see that we have different fields and we can filter. For example, we can filter by name, for example, voice, and we get only a call flow matching this name, this part of the name. Um, we can select, for example, with template, we can select all the call flows that use the play prompt template. Only this. If we select the survey template, we have this one. Okay, so we can filter this way. Um, Something important to understand here is the editability of a call flow. You will see that here we have a call flow which is editable and another call flow which is read-only. Why is that? This is because the survey component, the survey call flow, sorry, is being used by a campaign. When a call flow is used by a campaign and the campaign starts, it becomes read-only. This is to avoid changing the call flow in the middle of the execution of the campaign, because that would cause issues with the reporting, the statistics. So this is why we are restricting this. And once a campaign starts, any call flow being used by the campaign becomes read-only. If you need to make a small change to this call flow to be used in a different campaign, then you can just copy it, duplicate it, and you will be able to edit the questions, edit any part of the call flow. Um, and also something to consider here is that as long as you start creating campaigns, you will probably be creating more call flows because you will not be using the same call flow all the time. Maybe yes, but in some cases it, it it's possible that you don't. So you will see that this list of call flows will start growing and growing, and it will be um, becoming unmanageable in some cases. So what you can do is that the call flows that you are not using anymore, you can archive them. You can select the call flow and you archive them. Okay, and this way you don't see the call flow in the list anymore. If you want to see that call flow again because for any reason you want to see what it had, you select the filter archive and then you see this call flow here again, and you can unarchive it and it will go to the main list again. Okay, so this is basically what you can do with call flows.